It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop. And his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stand on the front line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, pay the ultimate price. He was born, his family is proud but torn. But if you knew him, you would understand. He was raised on how to be brave, just to see the flag still wave. And then he came home with only one hand. He's Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down here to for these stars and stripes. Stay on these front lines. He'll pay the ultimate price. Lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. March in line, march in line. Hey.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that. Welcome everybody to Build It Through Culture Live. A little tribute there to honor Memorial Day, which is coming up in a week or so. And we are going to be having this episode talk more about Memorial Day and veterans and those who've served. And so, again, I'm Rob Genovese, and my company's Unleash My Beast brand, which is a brand strategy company. I'm also regional director for Mesa Networks for New Jersey, as well as area director for New York. And I'm going to let my pal here, Steph Bellafato, introduce herself.
Hey, everybody. Stephanie Bellafato. I am the Carmel chapter president, and I represent ServPro. We're a local disaster recovery specialist. We clean up all kinds of disasters from fire, water, mold, pathogens, all kinds of things. If you have a disaster, we're the people to give a call. So, Rob, you know, that video was from Cafe Anderson, right? We watched him on the Connect stage. What an awesome guy, a totally awesome guy. And what a beautiful tribute song for Memorial Day, for those people that did lay down their life for all of our freedom, right? So we normally celebrate that holiday by barbecues and pools and fireworks, but let's really remember what that is all about. That Memorial Day is for all those people that did give up everything for all of us to have what we have.
Yeah, and I love it. You know, Coffee Anderson, as you said, we met him at Connect. He did play this song a little bit, so we got a taste of it. And never having seen him before was quite a treat, because he's not just a musician, but he does have a brand he calls Patriot. So he's in support of all those who served, the freedom we enjoy in this country. A lot of what America stands for that sometimes gets people throw tomatoes at or sneer at or put down. But the fact is, we're able to do things like we're doing here because of people like him, who talk about people like the veterans, some who gave their lives, some who sacrificed, meant a lot, just to serve the country, to protect the freedom. So we do want to honor that. And check out this video, Mr. Red, White, and Blue by Coffee Anderson, and check out some of his other songs, because he does pay tribute in a lot of different ways, but all around a good dude, a great singer.
Please support him, because you know what? I have like listen, as a mother of a veteran, right? My son served. So, you know, to all those people and their families, because it's not just the person that serves, it affects everyone in the family. Like when you don't know where your son or daughter is because they're out on a mission, you know, the worry for the families of those people that are serving. So it's a family thing. It's not just, you know, one person that's serving. Really, everyone feels it, right?
Absolutely. I want to welcome some people that are stopping by. You know, hey, Barry Dorfman. He says, hey guys,
Bear.
Ever supportive Barry Dorfman. Hey, Mary Ellen.
Mary Ellen. It was her birthday. Happy belated birthday again to Mary Ellen.
Happy birthday, Mary Ellen. Good to have you here. Tina. Oh, my pal Tina from Nashville.
Yep.
My wife and I were down in Nashville a week ago, and thanks to Tina's great direction, Steph, Anna and I talked with Tina on the phone. She gave us like a list as long as my arm is, where to go, what's going to be there for food, for entertainment, like everything. I was like, man, she's
awesome.
I should have paid her as like a travel advisor.
She's my Nashville girl, right?
She's great.
Guys, you know, please let us know where you're coming from. If you're hopping on the live right now, and hey, let me know in the comments if you're sharing this to your page. Put in the comments shared, please.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff Levin. Good to see you.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, and Justin. Good to see you,
my
Justin.
pal Justin.
Rachel showing up again. Hey, Sammy.
Sammy Sunshine. Sammy
from New York.
Kudos to Sammy. Sammy's ready. You know, she's ready to have this baby. So everybody send lots of positive vibes to Sammy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Maryland, my dad served in the Navy on tour, 2 tours for 7 years. Wow. All right. Pay tribute to him.
Yes.
Appreciate his service.
Thank you for your thank your dad for his service. You know,
Tina, my brother served 33 years in the Air Force. Wow. So that's a career right there. You know, I appreciate that. I didn't serve myself. I mean, I don't know a lot of people that served for whatever reason. I don't know, but I know a few people that served. And sometimes I think we're not really cognizant of what they're doing, of why they sign up, what makes them compelled to serve. Is it being a good patriot to your country? Is it wanting to serve? Is it something that you feel like called to do? Is it a family legacy thing? You know, I'm always interested in that kind of thing. I have a client of mine, and he served in the Navy for many years. And he said it was one of the greatest experiences of his life because of the kind of person it made him and how it made him feel about serving a great cause.
Sure. And look, even after 9/11, I know that there were a lot of people that had signed up for the military, right? So, you know, people feel compelled in whatever way. But we want to make sure that you all know how much we appreciate what you've done for all of us. So, and again, your family as well. It's not just, you know, it's a group effort. How many babies are born and the father isn't there because he's out on a mission somewhere for us, right? He misses out on those things, protecting the rest of us. So, you know,
I've met people we've all met those people who grew up, they call themselves sometimes military brats, like because their family bounced around the world sometimes.
Yeah.
So they never stayed in any one place for longer than several years before going to another, being stationed somewhere else. And, that the family sacrifice too, in that they are always moving around. So they pay a price as well for the parent or the guardian who is serving. So we always
Right.
appreciate the families too, because they sacrifice.
Absolutely. So we want you all to know how much we appreciate you, and we thank you for supporting whoever it is in your family that's in the military,
Yeah.
whatever branch they're in. Um,
Yeah. And we want you to take a moment here to like the Master Networks Inc. page. You're watching it on the Master Networks Inc. page right now. So if you don't already like or follow the FB page for them, go ahead and do that now. So you're catching the notifications of when stuff like this comes out. Steph and I, we appreciate support from people, but honestly, we're doing this because we want to be able to give back. We do this because we feel it has value in helping you in some way. And today's a little bit special as we come upon Memorial Day in the next week and a half or so. And as we reflect on that, we want to keep the focus where it belongs. And as far as culture is concerned, there's that core value of community, of contribution in Master Networks. And that contribution comes in many forms. So contributing, what you do in your personal life, like if you served, you've contributed in a very huge way. And I, for one, didn't understand growing up. Like I said, Steph, I didn't know a lot of people growing up who served. I didn't know what that was like.
Right.
My dad was in the Army for a couple of years. He wasn't stationed anywhere far away. It was during peacetime, and he never talked about it. And I never knew why. It was a part of his life that he just kind of put into a box somewhere for whatever
Right.
reason. It's not that he wasn't proud. I just think that he felt like that wasn't who he was. But he did it. And so I wasn't exposed to it a lot. So I didn't really know what it meant until I got older, and I was taught what it means to serve your country, the sacrifices, what is given up, and what we get, the people who aren't serving,
Right.
what we get in exchange for their sacrifice.
Absolutely. So utmost, when you see someone that served in the military, or you see someone in uniform, please, it costs us nothing to be kind. Please thank them for their service. I know whenever I come across somebody that is in uniform, I'm always thanking them for their service. And
Yeah.
sometimes you don't know, like if they're in plain clothes, you don't necessarily know. But if you hear somebody talking about somebody else that that served in the military, thank them for their service.
Yeah.
They did sacrifice, whether it was during peacetime or not, right? Because if they're signing up, if something happens, they're going.
Yeah.
So they know when they're signing up what they're signing up for, right?
Yeah.
So the possibility is there, regardless of whether it's during peacetime or not. They served for us.
Yeah. And I always appreciate organizations who do acknowledge those who serve. In Master Networks is one thing I really, really appreciate, because I was, again, as an adult, I was taught this kind of stuff, and the meaning and the honor and the contribution. And, at Connect, they start off the weekend, that 3-day event at Connect. Master Network starts off with a color guard and a tribute to our vets, to our country,
Right.
to what it means to be able to, we wake up on a soft pillow in peacetime. There's no war. What's going on, halfway around the world sometimes, especially now, we're not faced with that. And
No.
that is a privilege that we shouldn't take for granted, because there's people that are sometimes fighting for that. Americans
Every
fight.
day, right? And we have others that do that for us. And we're not going through a lot of the struggles that other people are going through in other places of the world. And sometimes we need to reflect on that and be grateful.
Yeah. If you're in our audience now and you are a vet, please put it in the chat. We want to honor you. If somebody in your family is, do that as well. We want to understand, how far reaching that is, because, as we build our networks, the way we're connected with people who serve, they're special, and they don't tout it either.
No.
They don't go, "Hey, I served." They're not,
Right.
They're not pounding their own chest saying, "I did this." And so I've never met a vet who ever did that.
No, me either.
Very humble.
Yeah, they're very humble. And
Yeah.
when you thank them, they're even humble in saying, I've had many of vets say to me, "Oh, it was my pleasure." Right.
Yeah. Yep. They see it that way.
Um,
Marianne says, my husband's dad, an American, never returned from the war in Japan. His wife, my mother-in-law, was Japanese. My husband was just born and living in Japan. He came to America at age 6. Wow. Wow.
See, so you don't know people's story, right? It's important. And this is why it's important to care about what other people care about, right?
Yeah. Hey, Chris, checking in from Mayapack.
Chris, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe Chris served too. Chris, can you let us know, did you serve in our military?
I thought I heard that too.
So
let us
if
know,
you
Chris,
did, we want to thank you as well.
Yeah. And so, if you've been paying attention, that when the notification for the live goes out, it does usually tell you what the episode is focused on. But tell us if you know what this episode is focused on more specifically. And it's not Memorial Day. Don't say Memorial Day. It's not that. It's a little bit more nuanced than that. But let us know in the chat if you know what this episode is actually called. I'd be curious to know. And we have here Karen.
Oh, Karen.
From Yorktown to watch my peepa. I think she means
my
peeps. No, she did. She corrected herself. Peeps. Thanks, Karen. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, Chris said, yeah, Navy.
The Navy, just like my son. My son was in the Navy, right? So thank you, Chris. Thank you for your service.
Appreciate it.
And hey, guys, if you share this to your page, please put shared in the comments. I want to know who's sharing this to their page. Please do that. So that, we have a longer reach that way, and people that aren't in master networks could see kind of what we're all about, or get at least a taste, right? And maybe they'll be like, hey, I want to be part of that organization.
I want to be able to put in the chat. I think I can do that. I don't know if I can do that here, but I'm going to try this. I've never done this before as I try and work these controls. But I shared it. Oh, it says Master Networks Inc. So I'm showing up there. I shared it on my personal page. I finally figured out how. Steph's been telling me every episode, Rob, share it to your page. And I'm trying to do it on my computer, and I can't do it all at the same time because I don't have 8 arms. But then I figured, I'm like, if I just do it on my phone, duh. So I did it on my phone. I shared it. So if you could share it, that would be great. Tina Malum, thank you, Tina. Appreciate it for sharing. And as usual, the winner is...
Yeah, we should have known.
Thank you, Rich. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. This episode is creating a cause. Now, we always want to tie this into culture and how we can give you actionable tips on what you can do to use culture to increase your business, your organization, your family, to create prosperity in those places. And tying it into Memorial Day and the cause behind why people serve. Again, if you have served and you're there in our audience, please let us know maybe what compelled you to serve.
Yeah.
If you don't mind sharing, if you don't, that's totally okay. But that cause of freedom, for me, a lot of people, it comes in a different kind of nuanced way. And I always thought, looking back on my life, maybe I was just too scared as a kid, or maybe it just wasn't for me. But looking back, there's a part of me that wish I did, because I would want to be a part of that cause that seeks to preserve freedom, because I'm all about freedom, because my personal freedom, which is only allowed to be acquired because the country remains free.
Right. And, Rob, you say that, but I think, when people get in, and I can only just share based on, what my son has shared with me. It's like, there's like this brotherhood of people too, right? We talk about culture within master networks, and that we have each other's back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
There's this brotherhood, like they will die for you, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what that's about, right? Like, they have this amazing brotherhood and sisterhood of that they create, because they become family with one another, right? They live, they eat, they sleep, they're all together.
Yeah, that part about the cause, when they're in there, I mean, this is what I'm hearing, right? And what I've read. So I'm only going by that. When I read books by people in the military, and a lot of them, they're really wonderful at business because they've learned a lot of disciplines. They know who they are. There's a confidence there. They learn about teamwork. And like you're saying, that cause that is greater than them, it rises above any personality disputes you may have. You may not like the guy next to you, but he's got your life in his hands and vice versa.
Yeah.
Is what I read, and I try to imagine myself in that position, and it's very hard. So I have tremendous respect for it, but it's the truth. You know, when you have a cause and you're all fighting for the cause, whether it's in the military, overseas, or at home in an organization,
Right.
when you've got each other's backs,
Yeah.
you're stronger. And it's why? It's because you're fighting for something bigger than yourself.
And you're doing it together. You're never doing it alone, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's super important. So tonight, guys, oh, go ahead. Mindset changes after you're in, regardless of original reason for joining.
That'd be interesting. I think we need to have a conversation with Chris someday, because that's a whole conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mindset.
Absolutely.
All right.
So what cause could you create? So think about that for a second and share with everybody in the comments, what cause could you create and why would you do it? So if you could, if you could choose a cause and do anything and to create, what would it be and why? What would compel you to do it?
Yeah, I'm reading, and this is part of Master Network's book club, and Rachel Sirota and Phil Ritigliano and Nicole Dupuis started the book club for Master Networks. And the latest book that they're going to be talking about next week is Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. And the overall theme, and this is a fantastic book. I've read a lot of books in my lifetime. This is a really good book. This is in my top 10 now. And it talks about a just cause, which is something that goes way deeper than your reason for being in business or whatever your organization does, tactically, that really transcends time, transcends lives, and almost never ends. Not almost, it never ends. In other words, the infinite game is the just cause that carries on, and you never actually get there because the cause is so big. It goes from lifetime to lifetime as people carry on the legacy of the cause. And maybe you can't think that big, like personally, right? So bring it down to another level. When I think about what I'm doing in business, my cause was, I wanted to, number one, provide for my family, right? That was number one, right? So I need to take care of their needs and my needs first before I could focus on other needs. But the paradox is you focus on other needs and your needs get taken care of, but that's another topic.
Yep.
But the cause is to make an impact in people's family lives through business.
Sure.
So to perpetually do that, see, I never get done because there's always more people to help.
Well, there will always be more people to help, right?
Always. So it never ends, right? So it's in a way that's a cause. I'm not comparing it to serving in the military by any means.
I'm not saying you are. Don't worry, you're good.
but in our personal lives, right? It helps to have some kind of cause that gets you out of bed every morning and gets your butt in gear and motivates you to go to work because, again, people's lives are depending on you. This cause must be pursued.
Right. And some people will call that their why, right? Why do you do what you do, right?
Yeah.
So, so share that. Put that in the chat. Let us know. We want to hear, we all learn from each other. That's the beauty of Master Networks, right? Is that there are times that someone will say something in such a way that it's so inspiring to you. It's a golden nugget they provide to you. And you're like, oh, you know what? I never thought about it that way. And that could help me in my business. And by helping me in my business, I can earn more money and my business can grow. Whoa, what a concept, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Sammy says right here, I want to inspire young professionals to keep going and don't let others get in the way of their success.
Woo!
Yeah. I mean, key word being inspire, in my opinion. If you can inspire people, I mean, your reach becomes infinite because it doesn't really matter. You don't need to be with somebody or get them hands-on in the work as much as if you can inspire them to rise up, right?
Yeah.
You can perpetuate that cause. That's great.
And I got to tell you, so for those of you that might not know Sammy, she is an inspiration. She's a go-getter and I have so much respect for her. She puts 110% into everything that she does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
she's a butt kicker. She's a real butt kicker.
Really is.
She runs circles around so many people.
Yeah.
and it was smiles while doing it, right?
Yep. That's why she's Sammy Sunshine.
Right. That's right. Absolutely. So yeah, keep putting it in the chat. You know what? If you have a cause, or if you don't, maybe throw one in there that you're thinking about. Like maybe we can help here. Maybe we can help guide you. You know, this part of what I do as far as a brand strategist is I'm helping people gain clarity around, you know, the work they do and what makes them different. And that is, you know, looking for something deeper than, well, I want to make money. Like,
yeah, well, yeah, okay.
It's not that. You know, Barry's got one here. Barry says, my cause is to identify, inform, and inspire future servant leaders.
And you do it every day, Barry. You lead by example. You're such an amazing example of a servant leader.
Yeah. And you talk about service, you know, Barry, he's inclined, you know, we're all drawn to a certain area of life or a certain grouping of people. And Barry's always gravitated towards community. You know, I've only known him for about 3 years or so, but you know, we've become pretty good friends, and I see who he's around, and I see the work he's drawn into. He's served on more charitable boards than anybody I've ever met. He's always centering his efforts around how it gives back, how it serves.
Yeah.
So yeah, Barry, you are a servant leader.
Yeah,
for sure.
You really are, and we really appreciate you for sure.
Here, Rachel's got a long one. Here we go. You want to read that stuff?
My vision is of a world where all people can feel confident, supported, and empowered so that overwhelm doesn't have to hold people back. I've recently become very invested in clean water solutions because it impacts people literally all over the world, and not having access to clean water causes a ripple effect in so many areas, from access to education to health and so much more. What a mouthful, Rachel.
Wow.
And I know her. We both know her, right? She'll do it too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
She'll do everything she can in her power to make that happen.
Yeah, and you know, talk about a cause, right? And you know, she's the one that I think she recommended that book, The Infinite Game. But you know, we've talked about it a bit, and you know, it's definitely made both of us think a lot. But you know, when she talks about the whole clean water effort, you know, again, that's a cause that may never end, right?
And again, right, and you think about this. That's another thing that we're fortunate to have, right? Other countries, what they go through with their water, that's scary.
Yeah.
Very, very scary.
Because sometimes we take for granted, right? And this is why I think, you know, when we honor the veterans, when we think about Memorial Day, it's not about hamburgers and hot dogs.
Right.
Right. It is about memorializing those who have fallen and the veterans who have not, but have sacrificed. And so I never want to take for granted the fact that the thing that may be causing me pain in my life is nothing compared to those who may have sacrificed something in a very big way. And so that cause, we all need to latch onto a cause to understand that it's not about us. It's always about others.
Absolutely. And again, you know, so guys, thank you so much. And if anybody else, please share what your cause is and why you're doing it. And also, again, let us know if you've shared this in the chat. Like if you shared this to your page, put it in the chat, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Rachel's got some more information on this here too. You know, she was talking about in Newark, New Jersey. I forget the astronomical number of people without clean water. And we take for granted, right? Because if we have clean water in our home, we think everybody's got clean water.
Sure.
Right? And then right here, right next door, a neighboring town, just about, there's too many families that don't have clean water in America.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And that should never be, right? Right, Rachel? That should never be.
Shouldn't be. So these are causes, you know, we can't ignore at home, but we all need to you don't have to create one necessarily. If you're doing that's really honorable, but if you're a part of one, you know, tell us one that you're a part of that you believe in, because
that you're passionate about.
Right?
Yep.
Every great cause has leaders, but the supporters are the people who are on the front lines, sometimes literally, figuratively, who are, you know, have their hands in the mix, so to speak.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Tina, I do what I do to help other people have better health through less pain, less anxiety, and sleep better. Right. And look, we know one thing for sure. If you got your health right, they say you got everything. So helping people have better lives and better health, they don't have to focus on their own needs anymore. They can go out and they can help others.
Yeah.
So, by extension, Tina, it's what you're doing. You're helping individuals who can go out and help other people.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Kathleen.
And that's so super important, right? Like,
yeah.
So guys, it's, Rob, it's about that time. Like,
It's that time. It is that time.
It's about that time.
You guys know, if you've been on here before, we always have a surprise guest, and we never like to reveal who it is, but I want you to put in the chat who you think today's surprise guest is based on our topic.
Yeah, so let's see, put your guess in the chat. Who do you think is tonight's surprise guest?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to bring them on to talk about this topic a little bit, their perspective on it. And again, this is always something that we want to make sure that's really engaging for you folks. So if you have any questions for that surprise guest when we're talking, please put it in the chat, any comments or anything. We want you to be feeling like you're a part of this, because this is not about us. It's about you. You make this what it is. Otherwise, it's just me and Steph talking, to each other, and nobody's listening. We don't want that.
Right.
Either.
Right. And you guys are a part of this. You guys are really who make it, right? Rob and I can talk. We talk all the time, and we can talk culture like, 24 hours a day, probably. So
yeah. Kind of ingrained in us a little bit. But
yeah, put your guess in there in the chat, please. Let us know who you think our special guest this evening is.
Everybody thinks it's always Barry. It's always the first guess that it's Barry. Why is that? Barry. I know. People want to see more of Barry, right? Let's have more Barry on here more often. Barry's already been on, but I'm not going to say we wouldn't have a repeat guest. But it could be Barry, because we are talking about a cause, and Barry does definitely serve a cause. Look, we got another one. Kathleen's like,
Kathleen is the amazing vice president of the Carmel chapter.
Or maybe Kathleen is trying to throw you all off, because maybe it's Kathleen.
Look what Barry says.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. Maybe they're trying to throw you off. Maybe it's somebody saying it's somebody else, but it's that somebody. So
I don't know. I want to see. Come on. I want to see a couple more guesses in there.
So we are going to tell you, I'll give you a little hint, though. This person is a veteran, in honor of what we're coming up on and the topic we're talking about. This person is a veteran. And so we definitely want to get the viewpoint of an actual veteran versus, Steph, we don't really know much about it. So see if that gives you a clue. It is somebody in Master Networks. They are a veteran. And let's see if you can guess who it is based on that information. Just put it in the chat there. And while I prepare to get that person, I'm going to have to run out of here. I got to run down the hall. I got to go to the green. Get that person, bring them in here. Here, we got some guesses. Tina says, is it Chris? Ooh, that's a good guess.
That's a good guess.
We kind of may have blown that a little bit by asking Chris if he did serve. You never know. We're a little bit tricky that way.
Yeah.
Kathleen says, is it Joe Adami?
Oh.
Okay. Could be. Could be. Rachel says Jeff Cartwright. All right.
No, could be.
Could be Cowboy Jeff. He's always got his hat on.
I love Jeff.
Yeah.
He's always got a great smile on his face, too.
Yeah.
What a nice guy.
Look at Jeff says, the people want more Barry Dorfman. Like, more Barry. You ever see that? More cowbell. More Barry. All right. Maybe we should bring that person out, because we are running out of time.
Yeah, I think we should bring that person out, because we are running out of time.
You're right, but we don't want to run out of time either. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the branding off of our frame here so we can make room in the frame.
Make
for the
room
three of
for
us
our
to
surprise
talk.
guest.
Yeah. So let's bring on everybody. Welcome to Build It Through Culture Live, Ms. April Valentine.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing, April? Good to see you. Welcome.
Hey, April. Let everybody know who you are and what you do.
So I am our vice president of our LaGrange chapter. We meet 5:30s on Tuesdays. I'm also on the regional tech team with people like Maggie Carey. So I help her out too on that. And I'm also the owner of Infinite Digital Marketing and Web. I am a one-stop shop for marketing and website needs for small business and medium-sized businesses, we're good at really good at something, and sometimes it's not marketing. So that's where I come in and take on that burden for them so they can focus on doing what they love in their business. Well, I become their strategic partner by, doing everything from their social media, email, do their SEO to help them rank higher on Google, websites, anything they need for their marketing to help them get found so they can grow their sales and leads and ultimately grow their business and revenue.
Awesome.
Man, that girl can talk about her business, right?
Yes, she can. Even while the kid is trashing the room behind her, right?
A little special
You hear
guest.
all kinds of toys flying.
Yeah.
April, introduce us to
Started
your
off-
first employee there. Who's your employee?
Right,
Yes.
there you go. There's the COO of the company right there.
The future. He is my youngest, Tristan. My other one's throwing stuff around like a war zone over here. So, it's a little hectic over here every day.
Speaking of that, April,
Love
first let Rob and I say thank you to you for your service. We appreciate you. And my first question to you tonight would be like, what compelled you to join? And share everybody what branch of the military you were in.
I did the Navy. So I had my grandfather was in the Navy on my mother's side, and so was her brother. My grandfather was actually a captain in the Navy. So he was high ranking in the Navy. He served in World War II. Yes, not World War II. I'm sorry. I think it was the Korean War, Korean or Vietnam War. So he served in one of those, and he was very high ranking. My uncle was enlisted, and then also one of my cousins went into the Marines. So he was in Marine boot camp while I was in Navy boot camp.
Wow.
His was 12 weeks, so I can't complain much because mine was only 8 weeks, but it was still pretty hard.
Yeah.
And it was just an honor to be able to go in and serve our country. And we, like you said, being a civilian, you don't think about the freedom that you have. We take it for granted here. I feel like, and when I went to the military, I realized, and I met so many amazing people who sacrifice so much, like you talked about. I met this one woman who was in the Army, and she had kids, and she was away for 9 months on deployment. She came back for 1 week, and then she had to go away for another 10 weeks. Wow. So she hadn't seen her kids in almost a year, her family in almost a year. And, I think that was during the Afghanistan war. She was telling me, the war there. And I was supposed to go to Qatar for about 6 months. But I somehow got out of that. I had an injury and I had to leave the Navy before that happened. But
so you had a lot of family who served. Did it feel like almost that you were compelled because it was a family thing that you wanted to maybe follow in footsteps? Were you inspired by your family members? So what was the core reason for going in?
I feel like that was the core reason. And also I kind of felt like I was very young and I was going through a time where I was trying to figure myself out and figure out who I was and what I wanted to do. And, it was just like a family thing. And I was one of the first females in my family to go into the military. All the others were males. So, I was the first woman to go in my family as a military. So it was a shock. Nobody expected me to go. They thought it was my sister because my sister was, more of like a tomboy kind. Like they thought she was gonna go into it. Me being the girly princess girl, they didn't think so, but I surprised everybody.
Wow. And so tell us about your experience in it. Did it change you? How did it change you? Maybe some of the good, some of the not so great. Like, tell us about what it did for you as a person.
I feel like it really helped me grow as a person. Because like we talk about, it's sacrifice and it's honor and it's learning that it doesn't matter about the person that's next to you. That's something that was drilled into us in boot camp. It's like, it doesn't matter what their background is. It doesn't matter whether they grew up rich or poor. It doesn't matter what color their skin is, what sexual orientation, who they love. This is your brother or your sister, and they're going to have your back at the end of the day. And I felt like it really helped me. I mean, it's kind of funny to say more independent because you're told what to do every single day there, every single minute of the day. I mean, they tell you when to eat, when to sleep, you know, when you can use the bathroom. It's very regimented, but it really helped me out in doing that and becoming more of an individual. And I feel like having more responsibility because having the weight of, you know, going out there to defend the country on your shoulders is one that really helps you to grow up very fast and mature very quickly. And, you know, that kind of kid phase, the teenager, young adulthood that everyone goes through where they kind of rebel and everything, like that's snapped out of you really quick when you're in boot camp. I'll tell you that much.
I can imagine.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, you know, a lot of people, like we're saying, if they haven't served, they don't know anybody who's served, they don't really understand what it's like. So tell us, maybe you can impart to us, for those who don't know, what does it really mean to serve? What does it mean to them for the people who do serve, for the people like me who maybe are at home and never experienced it? Why is it important that they understand how important it is to serve? Because, you know, obviously there's people who are against military, who are against it, who don't see that you were serving the country. They don't understand that. What kind of message can you put out to people to help them understand the importance of it?
I can definitely say from, you know, those who have gone out on many tours and, you know, the older, you know, Navy people, you know, personnel who talked to me about it was, you know, you go into so many of these countries that don't have the same rights that we do, that don't have the same protections that we do and freedom, you know, where every single day, you know, they fear for their lives. They're in a constant war and, you know, they can't go out on the street and go down to the movies. And that's what your military is doing for you. You know, we have those rights because those people go out there and go serve. And not only are they doing that, but they're trying to help, you know, other countries, you know, fight for their freedom to have what we have. And, you know, I'm so thankful even before I served because I had family in there. So I understood. But even more, you know, there were so many amazing people. And, you know, I just have the utmost respect for anybody who's ever served, regardless of how long it's been. You know, I feel like sometimes I was like, oh, I didn't serve that much. And there's so many others who served way more than me. And I have so much more respect for them, you know, who pulled in like 7, 10, you know, 20 something years. So I feel like, oh, it's nothing compared to them. And I always give them the utmost respect because I'm like, if you can dedicate that much of your life and, you know, they just don't understand that you're never seeing your family. You're never really there. You're stationed one place maybe for 9 months or maybe 2 years, and then you're stationed somewhere else again, and you're constantly moving. You know, you have to uproot your family if you have a wife and children. It's something, but it's the honor. We have a lot of honor, and you know, we're always there. You know, we kind of have, you know, we take little hits at, you know, the other ones, like the Navy will take shots at the Army and everything else. But at the end of the day, you know, regardless of who served where and which branch, there are brothers and sisters, and when one of them falls, and that's what you're taught, you know, you don't leave anybody behind. They're your brothers and sisters, and you know, it's really sad. And I think that that's something I want to get out is what happens to a lot of these veterans is after they served, they're a lot of times just forgotten. And, you know, so many of our homeless are veterans. And I want to do that for my businesses. I really want to hire veterans, especially also like, you know, women, especially mothers, and, you know, because they are forgotten. And, you know, it's just a sad cause because, you know, the military is kind of like, hey, we want us to do, you know, the work for us. And then after they're gone, they're like, goodbye, you know, and then they're left with nothing. And so many times people don't see the aftermath of what happens to a lot of these veterans after they served, is they're like, a lot of them deal with, you know, PTSD and a lot of symptoms from wars, and they're not given any help at all. And it leads to there's a huge suicide rate. I don't know if we could talk about that on Facebook without getting blocked, but it's huge and it really needs to be talked about. And, you know, definitely not only, you know, think about your federal veteran and, you know, thank them, but definitely hire them. You know, they need help more than anybody else. And they're going to be the most hardworking, loyal. I mean, not saying like anybody else isn't going to be, but they're going to give their all. They have honor. they have respect, and they're going to always put 100%. Everyone I've served with and everyone I've seen has always put in 100%. They put their heart into everything. And those are the people who are serving. And, you know, like you said, everybody is just, they don't want thank yous. Nobody wants that to serving all of these amazing military personnel out there who are defending it. They never ask for a thank you. They're just out there just doing their job. And, you know, I think it's kind of sad to see people who aren't appreciative of what they're doing, because at the end of the day, what the government decides, has nothing to do with the military, and they should not be punished for that.
All right. Wow. That's fantastic. You know, if you're just tuning into this, we're talking about creating a cause. And that's kind of the topic for the culture part of it. But, you know, in honor of Memorial Day coming up in a week and a half, we have April Van Tassel here, who's a Navy veteran. And we're talking about, you know, honoring our veterans as we recognize Memorial Day, those who have fallen and those who have served, who maybe have not fallen, but have sacrificed something for the cause. And in this particular cause, if we can just, you know, nail it down to the basics of freedom. I like, April, what you were talking about before about you go somewhere else in the world and you see that they have a severe lack of freedom. They live in fear. Maybe they're in a war zone. Maybe they don't even know what to expect day to day. Something could break out that will threaten their families' lives. And we take it for granted here in America because really there hasn't been a fight on American soil. And with respect to 9/11, where it was attempted, there hasn't been a war fought, you know, on ground here. So we don't really know. We're blocked from it. So we appreciate you coming on. And if you have any questions for April or comments, or you're a veteran, please put that in the chat. We'd love to bring you in the conversation. And April, to what you're saying, I think Chris is talking about the number of suicides a day. I think, Chris, that's what you're talking about, 22 a day of veterans.
That's
because
sad.
It's very sad because people who sacrificed but gave, you know, they sacrificed for the cause, and in the end the thank you was not there.
Right.
So
we need to support them.
Yeah.
I appreciate you know, wanting to hire veterans and to help them. And, you know, I believe in that program, any program that will help them get back into living. Because here's one thing I've learned too, you know, those who have served and have stepped back in civilian life, and they make the best business owners, right?
Yeah.
I mean, would you
well, because they're disciplined, right?
There has
very
transferred into business ownership. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Very disciplined. You know, we're used to a strict schedule. We're used to, like, this is our layout. This is what has to be done. And I think the best thing happened to me in the military is it showed me that you know, it's a mind over a matter thing. And if I put my mind to it, you know, I was not in the greatest shape when I went in. And, you know, I don't know if anyone's familiar here with this area. We have something called the Vanderbilt here, and it's like a huge estate. I used to not be able to run that at all. After I got out of the military, I was able to run that back and forth, no problem. I could run the walkway over the Hudson about 5 times back and forth. And it's mind over matter. It's shutting off, you know, those bad negative thoughts and saying, like, yes, I can do it, you know, and it's perseverance. That's what we're taught. And I think a lot of the military personnel have a lot of perseverance, and it's not that they don't fail like everybody else. It's the fact that they get right back up and don't give up. And that's
they don't quit, right? They don't quit. They just keep
there's
going.
No such thing. There's no such thing as quit.
Right.
Yeah. And then the part I love about, you know, veterans entering the business world is, you know, I don't know. This is my perspective. When you talk about, you said they tell you what to do every day, all day long.
Yes.
When to eat, when to sleep, when to get up, when to go to the bathroom, when to do whatever, right? And then, you know, maybe after you get out and you want to go get a job where they can tell you the same thing, and it's almost like for nothing, right? Because the job's not going to give you a lot of what you want, but to be the boss of the business, to finally lead, make your own decisions, and take the skills, take the mindset into business ownership, and be able to go create your own cause for your own family, your own loved ones, and lead the way that way. Because what you can really do is open up. You can hire employees. You can make a difference. You can hire veterans. Like, you can really increase the amount of ways you can give back to the people who gave so much.
Exactly. And, you know, you know, everyone always says on Veterans Day or Memorial, like, support your local veteran-owned business, but you don't have to wait until those days to do it. You can do it every single day
all
of
year
the
round,
year.
right?
Absolutely. You know, there's so many veterans in your local area. There's so many veterans, you know, just in master networks. I've been into so many, and, you know, we should always be supporting them 24, you know, 365 days a year. It shouldn't just have to be those special days.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We just have a couple of minutes here before we wrap up, April. Any final thoughts that you just want to leave our audience with? Any message you want to give?
Yes. You know, like we talked about, you know, there's a lot of negativity sometimes surrounding the military, you know, just like with the police. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're just taking orders from a bunch of rich bureaucrats who sit in Washington, D.C. It's not their fault. You know, so whatever the politicians are deciding, don't take it out on the military members. We're just doing a job at the end of the day. So if you have that kind of beef, don't harass them. Don't, you know, attack them. Just respect them, because, you know, we don't go in there to be like, oh man, we're going to get to go blow up a bunch of, you know, countries or anything. That's not what people go in there for. They do it to defend and serve their country. They're not in there to go, you know, make everybody else's life miserable in these other countries. So definitely do that. Definitely, you know, hire them. They're going to be some of the best employees ever. And just show respect. And like they said, the gratitude. You know, they're very shy about that. They don't like to go out and flaunt it, but, you know, it's appreciated. I've had many instances where I was in uniform and people paid for a dinner, and I felt really bad about it. I was like, oh my gosh, no, don't pay for my dinner. Like, I didn't do anything. I just was like, I'm just wearing a uniform. Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of serving, is you don't do it for you, right? You do for the cause. So
right.
You don't think you're doing anything special, but for some of us, it's pretty darn special.
Yeah, it is. So April, before you head out, I know you're quickly. I know you're starting a group in Master Networks. Do you want to share that too with everybody?
Yes, absolutely. So myself and Sandy Sola, everybody knows Maria's daughter, the first of the 6 diamonds, as well as Ellen Maxima. She does, I don't think she's in a chapter yet. I don't think she chose a chapter yet. But we're all started a parenthood group. It was supposed to be motherhood, but we're being inclusive to everybody. It's a parenthood group. So whether you're an older parent who had, you know, kids left the nest, or you're newer, you just had a baby, you know, everybody can go in there and we can kind of talk about, you know, share tips and tricks of how to balance entrepreneurship as well as parenthood, because it's tough, as everyone can tell from this entire interview.
I love it. Well,
Awesome.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for being here tonight. And
thank you for having me.
And most importantly, thank you for your service. We
absolutely
love you, and we appreciate you, and we appreciate all you do. So thank you, April.
Thank you, April. Have a good night. Take care now.
Have a good night.
Bye. Wow. She's amazing.
She's amazing that she could stay so, you know, focused on what
I know. And, you know, it just goes to show. So, you know, she's a wife, she's a mother, she's a business owner, she's a vet. Like, and here she is, you know, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, hanging with us, you know, like nothing's going on, and not complaining there with a great attitude. You can do a lot of things. You know, I love what she said about the mindset that it helped her get being in the military, and what it taught her and is carried over. Like, you can handle things, you can do things, you can lead causes, you can make things happen for your family and for others all at the same time. So what a butt. Appreciate it. Yeah. And thank you all for showing up. We had a couple of latecomers here. Yeah, Jean's chiming in. Thank you for all you do. Appreciate you, Kathleen. Thank you for your service, you know, and to anybody who served, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And this cause that we talk about that's associated with Memorial Day, you know, this country, again, really think about it. Think about, are you taking each day for granted where we live? You know, you can cross over into another state and there's nobody there with a blockade and a machine gun asking you why you're going.
Right.
Because that's the way it is across in other parts of the world. We're going into New Jersey, they'd be going into another country and they can't do it.
Yeah.
Not allowed. Right.
No.
And I taught my kids that little. I'm like, somewhere in the world, as we go into this state, there would be people with guns asking us what our business is over there. And here we go freely.
Yeah.
So I always try and remember that, because that's kind of the freedoms we enjoy. And
of course, food, right? Like we've always been taught when we were kids, like eat everything on your plate. There's kids in this country that are starving, or outside of this country, right? In other countries that are starving. So, we all need to be grateful. We need to start each day with gratitude and truly remember not what we don't have, but all that we do have.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I'd also like to tie it into, as far as the culture and cause and what we're talking about as far as freedoms. The biggest thing that I got out of personally, and what I can attach to the people who served, is those freedoms to be able to, just go about our business, but specifically to start a business, opportunity, the ability to start an opportunity where they don't have it so easy in other parts of the world. I have a designer who lives in the Philippines, and he says what they have to go through just to start a business, you would not believe. We're here, you literally can just put up a Facebook page,
talk to an attorney, create an LLC, right? And you're good. You're up and running. Create a Facebook page. And get the ball running. Make sure, just as long as you have a tax ID number, you're good to go.
And look, for all the the gripes about the government has kind of made it easy for people to open up businesses in America. I mean, it's not difficult at all, and people do it every day. And some say it's difficult. It's harder than what? Fighting for your country, like facing enemies.
And if you can do that, right? And if you did serve our country, you do have the skill set and the mindset to create your own business, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
they make some of the best leaders, for sure.
They do. Absolutely, for sure.
I think the humility kind of holds them back a little bit. I don't know. It's just a guess that I have, because they are so humble, right? Because I look at them like, man, what you learn about teamwork, the confidence, you're in shape, the discipline, you get up early, you work hard, you don't complain necessarily, right? You ate garbage food, right? And you didn't complain, maybe. I don't know. And then you come here and it's like, you should be kicking butt. You are like a superhero to me.
Right.
Because, I'm soft compared to these people. Like April said, she could run circles around people where she couldn't before, So the physical aspect is there too.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, guys, we're getting close to time being up. So before we close for the night, of course, first and foremost, I want to thank Chaz Wilson, who started this all, right? Yeah. Renee Pride, who gave us this opportunity to do this on the Master Networks Inc. page. Mm-hmm. All of you who come every other week to be here with us and share this with us. Like, without all of you, we wouldn't be here. And of course, our fearless leader, Tina Campbell, who started this region, we can't thank you enough. What an amazing mentor you are. What an inspiration you are to all of us. So thank you. And look, guys, go out there and spread love. Just spread love. Be kind.
Hey, you got that mug, Steph? Where's that mug?
Oh, I don't have it right here. Okay. My Sammy mug. We don't just do business here together, people. We do life here together. And we have each other's back, right? So if you see someone struggling, give them a hand. Help them.
Right? You don't know what's going on. I mean, I had a conversation with somebody today who opened up to me, wasn't going to. And it's something we're looking to do together. And that person said, you know what? I was going to cover it up, but I feel like I should just be transparent, and became vulnerable with me and said, here's what I'm going through. And I was like, man, thank you for sharing. And then we were kind of, maybe we had a great conversation for the next hour and hopefully help them through something they're going through. Why? Because we do have each other's backs, and we do want to see you win. And
that's the goal.
Overcoming something.
That's the goal, right? The ultimate goal is that everybody wins.
Yeah.
Not just one person. We all win.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, tune in. Our next episode is on episode 16 already. We're getting up there,
Woo
right? We're
woo.
almost in the 20s, but June 2nd is our next episode. So that's 2 weeks from tonight. It's always at 7 p.m. It's always on a Thursday night. And you can see not a lot stops us as we were in Dallas a few weeks back. So we even travel to do this. But put this on your calendar, June 2nd, spread the word. We hope you're getting value out of this, and share this even after this is done. Check the replay, share it, please, people, and spread this around, because we've got some good messages here that get out that somebody needs to hear.
Yeah, for sure. And hey, listen, when you are having your day off for Memorial Day, please take some time and think about all those people that lost their lives for our freedom.
Yeah.
And please make sure to let those that served in our military how much you appreciate them.
Yeah,
it doesn't take much.
Absolutely. Express your gratitude for them. And with that, we're going to close this out. I want to thank you all for you, whoever came by, for your participation and for your respect for our veterans and everything. We will see you in 2 weeks, everybody. So have a great
night, everybody.
Night. Have a good one.
Spread love.